We meet at a time when peace is under invisible and sustained pressure. Across regions, conflicts continue to expand, tensions are rising, and the commitment that once guided international cooperation are being steadily weakened. In many situations, international law is not being upheld with consistency. In some cases, it is openly disregarded. This is not a marginal concern. It is a defining challenge of our time. Because when rules are ignored, trust erodes. When trust erodes, cooperation weakens. And when cooperation weakens, Excellencies, instability deepens. This trajectory we are witnessing today. And in such environment, discrimination does not decline. It deepens and becomes more entrenched. Racial discrimination remains visible in unequal access to justice, opportunity, and protection. It continues to be reinforced by structural inequalities that persist within and across societies. At the same time, we are witnessing a concerning rise in anti-immigrant rhetoric, language that excludes, narrative that divides, position shaped by fear rather than principles. This is not without consequences. It legitimizes discrimination, it fuels polarization, and it undermines the social cohesion that peace depends on. Mr. President, this meeting, guided by the General Assembly Resolution 80/193, marks 60 years of commitment to eliminating racial discrimination. These principles are clear. The commitments are established. The standards are not applied consistently. Commitments are not enforced equally. And these inconsistencies weaken confidence in the international system. If equality is universal, then its application must also be universal. Excellencies, we must also address representation clearly and directly. Africa, with over 1 billion people and 54 member states, remains without a permanent representation in the United Nations Security Council. No permanent seat, no equal decision-making power. This is not simply institutional gap. It is a structural imbalance that continues to affect the legitimacy and fairness of global governance. Because decisions on peace and security are being made without permanent African representation, while many of these decisions directly affect the African continent. This reality cannot be ignored. A system that excludes at the highest level cannot fully deliver at any level. Mr. President, we are at a critical moment. Peace is being tested, international law is being challenged, and division is being amplified. This distance between commitment and reality is widening. The time for political correctness without action must end. What is required now is clear, direct, and consistent political will to uphold international law without exception and without selectivity, to reject discrimination in all its forms clearly and without reservation, and to ensure that global institutions reflect equity, fairness, and representation. Excellencies, IGAD recommends full and consistent implementation of the United Nations resolutions on racial discrimination, concrete and measurable progress on security reform, including representation for Africa, and decisive global action to address hate speech, misinformation, and anti-immigrant narratives that continue to fuel division. Mr. President, peace cannot be sustained where discrimination is tolerated. Justice cannot be upheld where standards are applied selectively. And equality cannot be achieved where exclusion remains embedded. This assembly carries a responsibility not only to speak, but to act with clarity, to act with fairness, and to act with resolve. And the time is now. I thank you.